Should be a nice warm sunny day and it's pouring down with rain.
Just like I told you, every time I picture England, I always think of it just like this, gloomy, cloudy, you know, foggy and stuff.
No, England's not all like this. Yeah, it sure is. It's a really cloudy, overcast day. We were going down to, well, we're still hopefully going there, into the main part of Cleveland. But we drove down on the highway. Was it on the turnpike?
No, we're on the highway.
We were on the highway, and the rain, the visibility was down to about 10 feet. So we've had to come off a little bit earlier than we intended. And now we're going to have a short break, and then hopefully get to move on a bit later. Today we are at a very, very special burial ground, cemetery in Cleveland. There's a lot of famous monuments to famous people and some absolutely astoundingly beautiful crypts and mausoleums around the site. So what myself and Sean are hoping to do today is to wander around here for an hour, call around at various graves and interesting epitaphs and see whether or not the spiritual energies there are prepared to talk to us.
Look at it. The staple is, it says, I am the resurrection of the living.
With this pseudo-ancient Egyptian crypt, I'm guessing this was erected around the 1920s. The king's crypts that they discovered, Tutankhamun and all that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering whether, as a result of that, whoever had this mausoleum built wanted it built in the Egyptian style in honour of that particular discovery. So what we're going to do now is look through the glass doors to see what kind of dates exist on the inside of the tombs. Yeah, yeah, got it. Looking through on the inside, the dates that I can see is 1928 as probably one of the earliest burials. And over the other side it's 1941, 1982. So yeah, this would be about right. Having just looked inside the mausoleum, one grave was marked as a burial in 1928, which would be about right. So perhaps the Valley of the Kings and the discoveries of Tutankhamun inspired this man, Mr. Moore, to have this fantastic mausoleum built in the Egyptian style. Absolutely beautiful building, it really is fascinating. We just arrived at this, what looks like to be a very roughly hewn stone cross, but actually when you get close to it there's a lot of intricate detail that's been carved into it, and this also trails around the side here, and it kind of gives the impression of plants growing across the stone. But this is beautiful. We're an unusual grave of the name I'm trying to pronounce, Hazelrot. This is magnificent Art Nouveau angel sat there with us, which I presume is the staff of life. This was actually made by an artist with the name of Macon in 1923. This is absolutely beautiful, and I'm feeling an energy here, presence. I wonder the spirit of this wonderful structure. If you could tell me your name please, or pass any message. We come in peace and light, we mean you no harm or offence. There's definitely a presence when I walked over here, and I could see over there, I could see like a grey wispy ether just floating off there very quickly. Sean, I understand there's a local legend attached to this particular monument.
Yeah, just people say this is the Weeping Angel statue, but when I'm looking at it, you know, it's like a green coating or whatever that is, and
That's
you know,
copper, yeah.
or whatever it is, yeah, and that, you know, it just seems like when it rains, you know, it's just like wearing it down, and especially around the face there, you know, you can tell it's just like wearing right down from the rain from all these years it's been up there. So, you know, a lot of people would just go off and say, yeah, that's the Weeping Angel statue because it's supposed to shed tears.
Well, it actually looks like it's crying, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
By the staining, as you said.
But, you know, when it gets wet, you know, you can tell it just wears off and just runs down, you know. But when you stare into its eyes, it looks pretty creepy, though.
Well, thank you for allowing us to stand in your presence, and we'll leave you in peace. And here is a smaller crypt with the same kind of carved two-headed ass motif running across the top. As you can see, it's exquisitely carved and looks almost identical to the one that we saw earlier. And again, the doors represent that period, 1920s. Absolutely beautiful. We're at a memorial marker to a famous American lawman, Eliot Ness, who is actually buried here, as we can see, with Elizabeth Anderson Ness, his wife, and their son Robert Eliot Ness. Now, as I've been told, the Ness's ashes were actually not interred where this memorial stone is, but were actually thrown into this lake. So the spirits of the Ness family are around this area. If Eliot Ness is here, or any members of his family, and if you would like to say something, could you say something now, please? Everything you say is being recorded so that we can listen to it. It's just our way of making friendly contact with you from this life to yours. I'll stand over by your marker stone. If you are here, Mr. Ness, it would be an honour for you to speak. I've always been in awe of your exploits in the past as a lawman.